Chapter 2 Sunday, April 13th. Breakfast with friends. By the time I groggily peeled my eyes open, my smartphone had been going off for half an hour, and the time was already 9:30 in the morning. I was supposed to meet everyone at 10 o'clock, and the restaurant was at least 30 minutes away by car. Stumbling into the bathroom, I splashed water on my face and brushed my teeth, searching for the relatively clean pair of jeans on the pile hanging over the back of my chair. Finding one that looked relatively clean, I gave them the sniff test before throwing them on and pulled a clean Volcom t-shirt from the closet. Slipping on a pair of boots, I grabbed my riding gear and headed out the door. Jumping on my Ninja 636, I strapped on my helmet and tore out of my apartment's parking lot, going 0 to 60 in just seconds as my adrenaline kicked in. My bike's motor howled as I raced through a mostly yellow light at the main intersection before plugging it again. Keeping my visor up, I let the crisp April morning air wake me up as I enjoyed the ride. Initially, the purchase of my motorcycle was a way for me to get a fast sports car-type vehicle for the sixth of the cost. But once I started riding, it changed my outlook completely. There are few things as exciting as holding on to an engine with wheels and tearing through some back roads at stupid speeds. Well, except for how much women loved to ask for rides. Heading down the back roads, I managed to make it to the Gun Club Cafe in 18 minutes flat, but still ended up being 5 minutes late. Luckily, the local sheriffs weren't patrolling that much on Sunday morning. Still, I took one last look back down the road to make sure I hadn't picked up any new friends as I pulled into the parking lot. While I was used to functioning with 4 to 5 hours of sleep on a normal basis, anything less tended to kick my ass, especially if I stayed up past 5 in the morning and needed to be up and moving by 9. Stifling a yawn, I gave Marg, the old hostess of the family-owned restaurant, a quick hello as I went looking for my friends since they weren't in the waiting area. As soon as I stepped into the main dining hall, I was assaulted by a large man. "Yo, hey, what's up, man?" "Oof, hey, F.A., good to see you made it." F.A.'s real name was Jeff, but no one ever calls him that. He'd gotten the name from some of our Mexican friends in high school, and the name had stuck. Probably because he was a gentle, yet clumsy giant. 6'6" and 280 pounds of mostly muscle and baby fat, which is kind of funny whenever I'd watch him play computer games all hunched over the controllers. As he grabbed my fist and pulled me in for a shoulder bump, I backed away quickly. "Dude, not the face." Everyone at the table behind him laughed. It was kind of a running joke ever since he gave me a black eye just saying hi one day. "Sup, Jay?" Squeezing around Hefe, I gave Mike and Dominic a quick shoulder bump each and grabbed a hug from Crystal and Jill before finally making it to my seat. "Shit, dude, I was sure you'd still be passed out," AJ says as he bumped fists with me across the table. "Yeah, I didn't end up crawling into bed until after 6. Tell me about it. That's why I chose just to stay up," Mike said, yawning tiredly. "I can catch a few Z's before class starts tonight. I didn't want to miss this morning." Although younger than me, Mike was another one of my close friends. We'd known each other over 12 years from LAN parties and morgues. At 23, Mike could handle staying up 2 days in a row without any trouble. The class he was talking about was the Krav Maga class that Dominic and I used to go to with him. But between my app programming side jobs, the stream channel that I ran our dungeon runs, and running the guild, I had to drop the training for now. I didn't have enough free time to keep going 3 nights a week until things settled down. The streaming channel was our life's blood. It's what AJ, Dominic, Mike, Hefe, and I ran to make money. As long as we kept things interesting and had enough subscriptions, we could play as a full-time job. The switch to Chaos Online had initially hurt due to the game's lack of popularity, but once our fans got a taste of the game's PVR morgue interface, our profits had caught back up to what they'd been in World of Warcraft. This was one of the reasons we took the game so seriously. While the tension the Syndicate had created from their bullshit behavior had helped to keep things interesting, I still hated in-game bullies. Still, things were looking up for our subscriptions for The World. The combination of the game's PvP and PvE virtual world could make for some interesting viewing and serious competition. If we could build interest in our subscription, then we'd be able to get more of our guild playing full-time. Jimmy was next on the list, but first, we had to be able to make sure we had a steady enough income coming in to cover the bills, too. Crystal and Jill had talked about going full-time, but Crystal was still on the fence about losing her job with AT&T, and Jill just lived off the allowance from her parents and didn't particularly need work. So she was cool with letting our other friends get to a full-time player status first. "Jay, did you get a chance to check out our responses of last night's SmackDown?" AJ asked, putting his hands up like he was lifting the roof. "Booyah, bitches!" "Dude!" I hushed, giving AJ the eye as I nodded my head towards the churchgoers who were filing into the cafe, giving us disgusted looks. "Really?" "Seriously?" Giving me one of his patented smart-ass looks. He waved away my concerns. "I checked our web traffic this morning. The video of the Syndicate getting their asses handed to them has already gone viral, including each of those videos you attached to the post. We already have over 5 million hits, and it's only been posted for a few hours on Sunday morning. How many will we have by the end of the week?" Pulling out my smartphone, I checked our site's stats and silently whistled just as Jimmy arrived. Before anyone could say hi to him, he flopped down at the table and started swearing as he waved his screen at me. I was still going through my inventory trying to sell everything before I unloaded my character, and Janako sent me this crap. "Dude, stop waving your phone around so I can actually read the freaking screen." I snapped back, grabbing his wrist. As I slowly read through the message, I saw my friends looking at me questionably as I reread the text, this time out loud. "The development team has issued a patch for the meta-paranormalist profession. All pets will still function as normal up until endgame, when attack pets' damage against world bosses and their mini-boss ads will be reduced by 90%? Instantly, AJ and Mike pumped their fists in a win, as I smiled happily. "What the fuck? Why are you guys so happy? Those shitty cheaters just ganked all metaphysicists." Jimmy and Hefe looked at us confused. "How in the hell is that a good thing?" "Look at our numbers, Jimmy." Glancing at my phone, Jimmy and Hefe traded confused shrugs. "I still don't get it." I linked last night's video to our streaming site, along with another 10 videos of the Syndicate trying to gank us and push us out of every open-world raid boss. Still not seeing comprehension, I laughed at both of them. "We've had over 5 million hits on our streaming site, and the videos haven't even been up for 5 hours. This is what we needed to get the money from hits and subscriptions to get you on the team as a full-time gamer. Not only that, but Janelle is screwed. His development team is doing the same shit they always do, and the player base is going to hit the roof. This thing is going to blow the fuck up. Trust me, Janelle will be lucky if he still has a job by the time everything calms down." Clapping Jimmy on his shoulder, I couldn't have had a bigger smile. No one talked for a bit as the food was served, and everyone focused on eating. As everyone finished up, the conversation started up again on what day everyone's egg and VR equipment were going to be delivered and fitted. Dominic, Mike, and myself were scheduled for Tuesday, AJ, Hefe, Jill, and Crystal for Thursday, and Jimmy and John for Saturday. "Are you guys seriously going for the ultra-realism package?" John asked as he picked at the leftover pancake on his plate. "John, the only reason we're talking the realism package is so we can take the physical and mental stat exam to get the additional boost to our characters. After Chaos Online, you know what a boost like that can mean for the endgame. And that's worth an extra 75% increase in realism to all damage taken within the game? Seriously, you do realize this is a hash-and-slash game, right?" "More like burn and crash for fire mages." Hefe began laughing at his own joke as everyone rolled their eyes at him. "Get it? Not crash and burn, but burn and crash." Ignoring Jeff, I tried to answer John's question. "John, the good thing about the world, from what I've been reading, is that your skills can make a huge difference in your ability to take damage and fight higher-level mobs. But even if that wasn't the case, the rest of us are trying to make this our full-time job. The only way that is going to happen is to take all the bonus options that we can. This pay-to-win thing sucks," John said disgustedly. "I don't know that it's appropriate to call this the pay-to-win option. Seeing John shaking his head to argue, I held my hand up for him to let me finish. Okay, yes. For $500 you can take an exam that will give you an extra 50 levels worth of increased stats. With those bonuses comes a hefty negative. Instead of only feeling 25% of our avatar's pain, we'll get to experience 75%. Instead of having a target reticle to assist in aiming our ranged weapons, we have to learn all the skills on our own without any extra in-game assistance. On top of that, all weather conditions will affect our avatar 75%, and we can starve to death. So, yes, while this is a boost for players willing to shell out the extra money and is a pay-to-win option on one level, it's the only one. One that comes with a bunch of serious negatives that's not for the faint of heart. Otherwise, there are no other in-game options for boosting your character or purchasing in-game gold. As far as morgues go, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I know all of that, which is why I was surprised to hear Crystal and Jill were going for the advanced realism mode, John said, eyeing both women. Dude, you never learn, do you? Shaking my head. I slid my chair back to make some space for the explosion I knew was coming. Oh my God, you did not just say that. Crystal's palm slammed against the table. Freaking A, it's a minor stat boost that increases all realism to 50% that's based on our in-real-life strengths and weaknesses. Not some pussy-ass 25% realism like you're going for. You know he's just afraid of being beaten by us girls. Yet again, Jill added, turning to Crystal. I can already hear his complaining now when he gets smoked by a boss. Her voice mimicked that of a whining child. It's not fair. You have a 25% boost to your stats. And I don't just because you're willing to play with more pain. Watching John backpedal as the girls laid into him, I arched an eyebrow at Dom as he just shook his head, keeping silent. You'd figure by now John would have learned to keep his sexist opinions to himself. Sometimes. I think he did it on purpose, just for the attention. Even if he was older, he couldn't be that thick-skulled to keep making the same mistakes again and again that regularly got him in so much hot water with women of the guild. Poor fool. I knew what the real problem was. John didn't know there was a middle level available for the PNM exam, and was trying to cover his tracks for not keeping up with his emails. Not that it was going to help any, since most of the guild had chosen to go with the advance option. By the time everyone settled down, we were finishing off the pot of coffee that had been left on the table, and the cafe was mostly cleared out as the Sunday brunch rush died out. The owner's family was eating their breakfast at a big table next to us, listening to our shenanigans, mostly amused. Gun Club Cafe had the best Southern-style breakfast in the 5-county area, which was why we were here every Sunday. Besides that, you couldn't beat the price. While all walks of life came to the restaurant, during normal business hours, the cafe's main clientele were alligator wranglers from the Everglades who enjoyed hunting and eating. Most of them had large beer bellies and were dressed in camouflage pants and jackets, talking about hunting alligators, turkeys, and wild pigs, while our group was a bunch of gaming geeks dressed in skateboarder gear, talking about virtual hunting. Luckily, they were a friendly group who appreciated a good time. Slowly, we finished up and made our way out as the girls kept hammering John the whole way. Still laughing, I geared up and climbed on my bike, heading back to my apartment for some much-needed sleep.